Salutations everybody, it is Matty here today with my top 5 most anticipated games of fall 2017. We did this last year. News is kind of dry, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. So I figured, let's do it again this year. There's so many games coming out, there's a wide variety, there's something for everybody it feels like. So I'm gonna bring you guys my top 5, and as per usual, you drop your top 5 in the comments down below. So yes, now you know why I was awkwardly off center at the start of this video, because there's gonna be gameplay right here. Yeah, I'm poking the dang gameplay. Number 5, South Park, The Fractured Butthole. There are so many games out there that try to do humor. They fail usually. There are so many games out there that crack an occasional joke, but there's no game out there that really just solely rides off its comedy and yet is still a really good game. That's what South Park The Stick of Truth was, and what looks like South Park The Fractured Butthole does even better. Not only was Stick of Truth a funny ass game, it was also a really good RPG. So that's what I'm hoping from with South Park The Fractured Butthole. Another thing I'm hoping with the comedy is that they don't go for more modern jokes, but in fact just actual humor, because here's the thing is that those types of games can age well, whereas Stick of Truth really stuck with what was funny at that time but may not be as funny now in 2017. Outside of Dragon Ball FighterZ, I don't think there's a more true to art style game tie-in like South Park, so I'm really excited to play it. It's coming out very soon. I love those turn-taking RPGs. I like to laugh, so here's hoping The Fractured Butthole is a good game. Number 4 is Vampire. I made a video individually about this game on how it seems to really focus in on choice and consequence. Apparently this game is coming out in November of 2017. That's all it says, November 2017. No day, so I'm really hoping that it doesn't get delayed, although I'm getting a feeling because you'd think by now in September they have a release date planned for it. That or they might rush it out and it might have a lot of bugs, which I also pray doesn't happen because man, this game looks like something really unique. It's set in World War I. You play as a vampire. You can either feed on people, you can save them, there's a plague going around, there's so much crap happening and you're smack dab right in the center of it. Kind of a pseudo open world, third person action combat. That really marks off a lot of what's on the Matty checklist. I mean, that is a game that grabs my attention hands down, and I'm also looking for that new unique RPG, and I like seeing developers that come out and instead of in interviews pimping their graphics, pimping their new engine or something along those lines, which are important, but I like how this studio always comes out and talks about choice and talks about role playing. That is so key, and for gamers such as myself and you guys out there, I think that is what we want to hear. And they say they take inspiration from The Witcher 3. Now, Mass Effect Andromeda also said that, so that doesn't mean necessarily it's gonna be a really good game, but still, at least they're looking in the right place, am I right? Number 3, Super Mario Odyssey. Now, I was super excited for Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle, and that was an excellent game, and I'm really excited for Super Mario Odyssey now because of an additional reason, thanks to how great that game is, and that's because I want to see if Ubisoft is gonna make the best Mario game of this year. As for the game itself, there really looks like there's some special gameplay creativity there, such as meshing into a wall, and then the game turns into the Mario that myself and many other gamers grew up with, that 2D side-scrolling Mario. I mean, you can use that hat to turn into electricity and ride down a wire, you can fly with it, you can throw it and grab coins with it. We've seen how it works in hub areas such as 3D World, where it does seem to play out well, but in an interconnected open world, it sounds like something that wouldn't work, but it was one of those games when it was initially revealed that I thought to myself, I didn't know how badly I wanted this until Nintendo put it right in front of me. Now I can see why outside of Nintendo fans this game might get some crap, because it's one of those games where you think to yourself, why does Mario have to be open world? Because the discussion is every game nowadays is open world, so why does Mario have to be there? And it seems like just the next logical step. You go from the side scrolling to 3D hubs, now you're going to open world. So Mario's been trending this way for a while, and I can't wait to see what gameplay mechanics they pack in there, what little secrets and Easter eggs Nintendo puts away in there. They offer such excellent replay value in their titles. Out of all the games I've played this year, easily all the games on my Nintendo Switch have offered the most replay value. So here's hoping that Super Mario Odyssey is a slam dunk for Nintendo. I think they really need it, and they seem like they're on the right course with the Switch. This is what they really need to just hammer home and just have that ultimate exclusive, outside of course, Zelda. Number 2, I don't think you guys realize, but you can't escape one of my lists without some type of weeb game appearing. Danganronpa V3. Now, Danganronpa 2 was my game of the year in 2014. I've been hotly anticipating the third entry for this series. For those who don't know, allow me just to give you a quick sales pitch on what Danganronpa is all about. You and a bunch of other high school students are trapped inside a school. The only way to escape said school is murdering one of your friends. On top of that, when someone is murdered, then there is a class trial. During those class trials, you have to figure out who the murderer is based off of evidence you have collected throughout the level. If you don't find out who the murderer is, everyone dies except the murderer. Of course, if you find out who the murderer is, only he dies through a special punishment, the game calls it, where they die in pretty brutal fashion most of the time. The game plays on real character attachment, and V3, after playing the demo, man, I'm sold. Now, for those who do like Danganronpa, you may notice that there's Danganronpa 1 gameplay rolling. That's because I don't want to search up Danganronpa V3. There are so many spoilers out there. People have been taking the Japanese game and turning it into English and spoiling it for so many fans out there. I really don't want that to happen, as this is one of my new favorite franchises. It's such an excellent game series. I've convinced so many people to try it out, and they've all been really happy with it. I hope one of you out there watching this is convinced enough to try it out, but enough of the sales pitch on Danganronpa. The reason I'm excited for V3 is because there's been a long build-up. There's been a spin-off title, which is Ultra Despair Girls. There's also been 3 arcs of an anime now, and finally, we are here with the next entry in the game. I want to see how these students got trapped in a school yet again, what exactly is going on in this situation, and who I'm going to get attached to who will eventually die. And coming in at number 1, my most anticipated game of fall 2017 is, I almost regrettably say this, but I'll explain why, Battlefront 2. Now, when I was sitting down going through all the releases for fall 2017, nothing really was jumping off the page for me except Battlefront 2. Now, why is that? I expressed heavy disappointment in Battlefront 1, so much so that I dropped all Battlefront content entirely. I covered Star Wars every now and then, but Battlefront 1, upon the launch of that game, I said, this is so bad, I cannot see myself playing this game, my heart's not into it, also, I'm just not into it in general, and that was it. Boom, I was done with it. So why someone who despised Battlefront 2 so much, at least the vanilla version, is really anticipating Battlefront 2? It's because this looks like the game that Battlefront 1 was supposed to be. That's why I say almost regrettably that this is my most anticipated one, because we find ourselves in this rhythm of gaming where so many series don't get it right till the second time, and it almost feels a little dirty, but at the end of the day, you're like, okay, this is the game I wanted, so who gives a shit? Now, the reason I'm excited for Battlefront 2 is not because they're covering all the bases of, oh, we got story, oh, we got multiplayer, we got this, and that. Yes, you can say all of that, but is the story good? Is the multiplayer good? Is that post-launch content going to be good? They have all the right pieces in place, but at least if the story is decent, the multiplayer is well balanced, and these post-launch supports are monthly, not bi-monthly, not 3 months after launch, monthly, because that's what Overwatch did, and I don't care what anyone says, I think Overwatch has done the best post-launch support of any game I can freaking think of. Battlefront 2 really seems to be mimicking that, and that makes me super happy. But it's not just the post-launch support. The game itself looks excellent. I'm a sucker for the Clone Wars. Seeing that they even managed to do that is really exciting and shows some promise for future games from Star Wars in general. I mean, it's obvious the game is beautiful. It sounds amazing. Battlefront 1 sold so well, 15 million copies and more, I think, and that is really good for any game out there, and EA said, yeah, that's good, but no one stayed around. They openly came out and said that, and that's what I really admire. I know EA isn't a company to admire, but at least they're being really honest with Battlefront 1 and how they felt about the game, where, yeah, it performed well when it came to sales, but that doesn't really earn them the most money, does it? They need to keep players engaged. They realize that. That means they have to give us a legitimate game. It's about time they woke the hell up. But anyway, that's why I'm excited for Battlefront 2. It seems like all the right pieces are in place. EA has at least woke up with this game. DICE seems on the right track. They've been given the right amount of time. They don't seem to be restarting and bringing in old Battlefront 1 content later. They seem to be building from what was already in Battlefront 1, putting it into on top of more. That's so important as well, and that's why Battlefront 2 is my most anticipated game of this fall. And that'll do it for my list of the top 5 most anticipated games of this fall. I'm really looking forward to seeing what you guys are looking forward to, so fire away. Other than that, follow me on Twitter, like me on Facebook, those links are in the description down below, and be sure to consider checking out my Patreon. It fuels all the content we create here. Stay sexy, stay active, I love you all, peace.